There are some recurring themes in trippy artwork that I have recognized, and I'm going to show you how to do some today in After Effects. And while I'm building this into one project of my own, the idea here is that you are able to cherry pick some of these techniques and incorporate them into your own projects. This is what we are going to be covering today. Let's jump in. Alright, I have already got my text layer sitting here, and the first thing that I want to do is add some color. In this case, I am going to do this by converting my text into a shape layer. So come down onto the text, right click, and go to Create Shapes from Text. I'm going to select that layer, drop into the Contents tab, and under each and every letter I'm going to switch off the visibility for the fill and the stroke. That is going to make our text appear invisible. Don't worry about that though. We're going to drop back into this contents, go to add, and we are going to add a gradient fill, and I'm also going to go back in and add a stroke. And I am doing it this way so I just have one to control everything, and I'm not going in and out of all of these letters because that's annoying. So I'm just going to select my colors for my gradient. I'll choose a purple, and I'm also going to choose a green. And finally, for this gradient, I'll just adjust my start and end points until I'm happy with how this looks. Then I will jump down into the stroke, and I'll just change the color to black, and I'll leave the stroke with it too. Right, so next I'm going to go to Effects and Presets, type in Glow, and drop this onto my layer. And I'll just adjust the threshold, radius, and intensity until I am happy. So just come down here, add a repeater. Straight away you can see some movement. I've got some extra copies of my text, and if I drop into this tab we can start adjusting these. So you can see here I've got about 3 copies here, and that number is right here. So I'm going to bring this way up. You can also adjust the offset, but I actually want it to go up and down, not across, so I'm going to zero out this position. Just go to this 100 and I'm going to change it to 0. And I want to create an animation, so I'm just going to start adjusting some keyframes. If it loops, I want to have a little bit of a gap, so I'm just going to come out to 4, put a position keyframe, and I'm just going to come along and start adding some movement. About 27, and I'm going to move it down a little bit. 56 works. Come out a little further. I'm going to make this even larger. And I'm going to come out to about 4, and I'm going to bring it back in again. And we've got this animation. Okay, I am going to use another repetition technique now. Go to Effects and Presets, type in CC Repetile to drop this onto my layer. If I adjust this, we'll have some repetition. Our glow effect actually affects our repetition, so I'm going to bring my CC Repetile above my glow so we have it closer together. And I actually want this to be animated as well, so I'll come into our timeline again, into my effects, and I'm going to add some keyframes here. On frame 8, I'm going to leave this at 0, and I'm going to add a keyframe on our expand right and expand left. Come out to 20, pull these numbers way out. Then I'm going to move way out to 3 seconds. I'm going to just add 2 more keyframes, and then I'm going to come right out to the end again, and I'm going to go back to 0. Right, so I am happy with this animation. Now I am going to add some waviness, which you just see across every piece of psychedelic. So couple ways you can do this. There's always multiple ways you can do things in After Effects, but for this one I am going to use the ripple effect. So drag that onto our layer. Once again I'm going to add in some keyframes, and on the first frame I'll add a stopwatch on 0, come out to about 104, make the radius 100. For 13 I'm going to add another keyframe, just leaving it at 100, and I'll bring it right to the end and drop it back down to 0. Then I am just going to change the wave speed. I don't want it to be quite so much, so I'll bring that to 0.5. Also adjust the width and the height. I'm just going to bring this up a bit as well. I want to add a little bit of a burst of light in the middle of my animation. So to do this, I'm going to go to Effects and Presets and type in Echo. I'll drop the echo onto my layer, and I'm going to drop into our layer effects. I'm going to come forward to about 210, add in some keyframes. So I'll just do echoes and starting decay. I'm going to change the number of echoes to 0. Then I'm going to move forward a few frames. I'll change the number of echoes to 25, and I'm going to change the starting decay to 0.1. And then I'm just going to copy these ones again, Control C, move forward a few more frames, and paste. And I'm going to select all of my keyframes and press F9 to make them easy ease. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to go back to my CC Repetile and make those ones easy ease as well. Then I'll do that one more time on my repeater effect. And I just wanted to give you a bonus tip for the day. You can make some really trippy effects without using any effects at all. Take this for example, I just duplicated my layer a bunch of times, offset it, moved the ripple to an adjustment layer, and then I pre-composed it and scaled it up to stop the pulling away in the corners. And another alternative look, duplicate your layer, change the gradient and offset it in a different way, and you could get something that looks like this. If you enjoyed this trippy tutorial, make sure to click this video right here to see what else you can do.